Hello, Panthers. Here to talk to you today about the upcoming assignment called Patriots versus Redcoats. You can see it right here in front of you. This is a helpful video so you know what the expectations are for this assignment, and so you can reference back to it if you have any questions. So I'm just going to focus in on the Patriot side. You'll be doing both the Patriot and Redcoat side, but that way you can see it and it's nice and large. And what this assignment is doing is focusing on the American Patriot soldier and comparing and contrasting it to the British Redcoat soldier. So just taking some time to kind of compare and contrast the two sides for the American Revolutionary War. The requirements for this project are on the top left. You need to include your first and last name at the top. Also include your class hour. You're going to be coloring both the Patriot uniform and the Redcoat uniform neatly and accurately. And then you're going to be researching the information about each of the two different armies. You need to include 2 to 5 sources or 2 to 5 ideas per box, and make sure you're using quality sources. So let's talk about each box quickly. The top left box is about uniforms. You need to be maybe referencing the type of uniforms, what they're made out of, the pluses and minuses to the uniforms. Don't just list the colors. That's why you're actually coloring the uniform. So information about the uniform specifically. The top box would be famous leaders. So as you're researching the two different armies, maybe these are the generals. These are important soldiers that did something special. Knowledge of the land would be understanding the idea that knowing the setup of the land, the rivers, the streams, the trees, the landscape, how that played into the war. So understanding the land would be the fact that maybe you know the ins and outs of the landscape, the geography a little bit better. Motivation to fight would be why each side was fighting. So you could specifically reference an individual soldier, or you could talk about the army in general. Fighting tactics is referencing how each side fights. So the X's and O's, the strategies of how they fight. Experience fighting. So how much they know, whether they've done this before or not. The idea that maybe the knowing how to fight, maybe the battles that they've done before, the history of both armies. Equipment or gear is what they'd be carrying with them. So, for example, maybe a musket, the type of musket, how it looks, things like that. And then finally, other information off to the bottom right. So, once again, you're going to be doing an assignment called America's Revolutionary War, Patriots versus Redcoats. And this is going to be the idea that the American Army versus the British Army, they're very similar, but also very different. So if you have any questions, of course, ask your teacher, and have a great day, Panthers.